Welcome to Success Keys, your preferred program on GITV. Today, I would continue on a theme we had already studied, mentorship. Mentorship. Last week, we were looking at mentorship, and we saw that a mentor is somebody who generally has more experience, has success stories in the area in which we want to be mentored. And it is somebody we get into a relationship with because we want to gain from him. We also saw that there are many people that do not accept to be mentored because they have the impression that there is always a fault or something wrong you can find in anyone. Unfortunately, there's no perfect human being. And nature has it that most of our heroes are celebrated after they are dead. I hope that will not be the case with the heroes of today, that this generation will know how to celebrate their heroes. We also learned last week that mentorship can produce a couple of positive effects for those who accept to be mentored. For example, it can make you go faster. It can produce a leapfrog for the learning process for you by avoiding you to make the mistakes which your mentors had already made, so you learn from their mistakes. We saw that mentorship can build confidence and that it can help you to aim for higher and to take leadership, thereby helping you to achieve more. We also saw that mentorship can create opportunities for you and new platforms. Mentors have the habit of creating opportunities. They can open doors for you which normally you would have never been able to open. And we saw also that mentorship will give you a protection or cover in your time of challenge and difficulties. Through all of that, we could come to the conclusion last week that having a mentor is important. However, sometimes we are challenged with a couple of things. How do we choose our mentor? Today I'll be helping us to identify how we can choose a mentor, number one, and how to manage the relationship with a mentor. So, as already mentioned, every great leader is an offspring of another. And I want you to know that every leader follows someone else. And if the person you're following has no one he's following, you are in trouble. God has a plan for us in mentorship. And we saw last week in Jeremiah 6:16 that we should revisit the ancient paths and learn from it so that we do not commit the same errors. We also saw many biblical examples of mentors and mentees. We saw Jesus, who was the mentor to the 12 disciples. We saw Elijah and Elisha. We saw Moses and Joshua. We saw Paul and Timothy. And you can name them and name them over and over again. Let's come back to the topic of the day. How do I choose a mentor? We already told you last week, and I continue to say, a mentor is somebody who is generally would be older. He could be younger, but older in experience, has more experience than you, has a track record of some success in the area in which you want to be mentored. So, for example, you can't take someone who's never been married to mentor you in marriage. It will be difficult to get a mentor as a pilot who is maybe a doctor. So, it's important to identify some similarity in what you are trying to achieve and the mentor. The mentor should have the skills, the experience, which you need in that particular area. That is why you can have more than one mentor. You can have a mentor for your spiritual life. You can have a mentor for marriage. You can have a mentor for your career. You can have a mentor even for a project which you're trying to run. In general, a mentor should not be a novice. It should be somebody who has run that path before. Else it will be difficult for him to mentor you. Another thing is, you can't work with a mentor with whom you don't agree. The Bible tells us that two cannot work together unless they agree. So an important criteria in the choice of your mentor It should be somebody whom you can relate with, somebody whom you can develop a relationship with, somebody whom you can communicate with. Else, it would not work. And the reason why many people sometimes do not want to choose this criteria is because they really don't want mentorship. Your classmate cannot be your mentor. Your mate is not your mentor. A mentor is someone superior to you. And that means you need to be ready to accept correction and other things to be properly mentored. Although mentorship is that important, often the relationship between the mentor and the mentee is not well managed, and hence very little comes out of it. Very little. We will also look at some of the misconceptions about mentorship, because if you go on with these misconceptions, there will be very little you'll be able to bring out of the mentorship. There are a few things that mentorship is not. One of those things is mentorship is not a passive endeavor. It does not suffice for you to go and meet somebody and tell him, I want you to be my mentor. I've had so many people come to me, oh, I really want you to mentor me. And that's the end of the mentorship. The thing is just to say, this person is my mentor, that person is my mentor. All of that is not going to produce much for you. It's not a passive endeavor. It requires conscious effort and commitment on the part of both parties. So in the choice of your mentor, you don't also want to take someone that is so busy that will not be able to find time for you, because else the relationship will not produce much. It requires conscious effort. You have to make a conscious effort, not just name names. Oh, that's my mentor, that's my mentor, that's my mentor. And it requires consistent desire on your behalf and the behalf of both to learn and connect. There must be a desire in you to learn and connect. Having a mentor cannot take you far if there is no desire to learn and connect. So I said, mentorship that works is not a passive endeavor. It does not suffice for you to go to somebody, walk to him and say, oh, I really admire you. I want you to be my mentor. That will not kill the game for you. You need to go further. You need to be consistent in your effort to learn, observe, see what the person is doing. You listen. You need to be consistent in your effort to connect with the person. Find opportunities to connect. And you need to have a conscious effort that you place. And you must have a commitment in the relationship. Here, it's not only about the mentee, but even the mentor. So you need to be as a mentee, because remember, in the relationship, unfortunately, the mentee, you need the mentor more than he needs you. So you need to create the environment that will foster this. There are people that are able to get busy people to connect with them through their approach. You need to have an approach that will draw the attention of your mentor to you. The second thing that mentorship is not, it is not a therapy. It's not like you're going to the hospital to consult with a medical doctor and you tell him, I have a headache, I had a fever, and he asks you, when did it start? How many times have you had a high temperature? That is not what mentorship is. It's not a session where you sit and you start naming all your difficulties one after the other, and the mentor just listens to you and that he has to find a magic concoction to treat you. That is not what mentorship is. Your mentor is neither a therapist nor a psychiatrist. He could advise you through some difficult situations in your life, in your career, in your ministry, in whatever area you're trying to be mentored in. But your mentorship sessions should not become a place where you bring all your troubles for the mentor to solve. If you do that, your mentor will soon get tired of you. And when he sees you coming through one door, he will look for the next door and you'll be out. Mentorship should be positive. It should be about moving forward and making progress. Share your success stories. Share your strengths. not only your weaknesses. Then share your challenges, but with an open mind. Don't dwell only on your issues and your troubles in a way that bogs the mentorship down. You know, we talk about freeze today. Sometimes when you watch TV, suddenly the image just freezes. That is what an excess of expression of troubles does to mentorship. It just freezes. So there's no more movement. There's no forward, there's no backward. And while it freezes, people start making decisions. I think I should jump out of this. I should change the TV channel. Or if they are very patient, they'll wait for it to unfreeze. But very few people have that patience. So do not change your mentorship sessions into a bug. Let it not freeze. Unfreeze it by managing it with the right approach. The third thing that mentorship is not a one-way street. It's a double-way street. So when you are going to be mentored, realize that you don't do all the talking. You need the mentor and the mentee need to participate. The mentee that sits down and comes as though he's coming to a lecture. A mentor is not a lecturer or a teacher. So you can't be quiet and expect your mentor to speak and speak and speak and speak and speak. Or the other way around, you can't speak and not give any opportunity to the mentor to speak. So it's a balance between the mentor and the mentorship, where you need to exercise some emotional intelligence. You need to be able to have a conversation, sometimes even find points of interest that are not the topic of the mentorship, because that will develop the relationship. If you want to have a mentorship session that is successful, it's good for you to know a little bit about your mentor. You want to learn ahead and say, what are the things he likes? Because sometimes finding a common point of conversation will build that relationship, and then the secret will come out. The juice will come out. I'm speaking today mostly from the perspective of the mentee, but what I say can be used by both the mentor and the mentee. The fourth thing which I would want us to look at, which is not mentorship, is that mentorship is not a cure for all. It's not because you have a mentor that directly you become a success. No. No matter how good a mentoring program is, product and success is a product and a concoction of many other things, not just mentorship. And these things are guided by the desire to change and progress. So you, the mentee, you must have a desire to change and to progress. If you come to the table with no desire to change and progress, mentorship will not be a magical concoction for you. It will not play the game. It will not take you to the next level. You must add to whatever you're hearing the desire to change and progress. And your desire to change and progress is what will make you to accept correction, to accept and to see things differently, to look at another perspective. So today, we have looked at 4 things that mentorship is not. Mentorship, number 1, is not a passive endeavor. It requires conscious effort and commitment on the part of both parties. Number 2, we saw that mentorship is not a therapy. So you're not going for a medical consultation where you give all your symptoms and your doctor has to find the reason, what is the sickness, make a diagnosis and give you some medication that will treat your symptoms. No, that's not what mentorship is. In as much as mentorship involves counseling and your mentor can help you to navigate tough situations, it is not a therapy. He's not neither a psychiatrist nor a therapist. Mentorship has to be positive, not a singing down of all the negatives and all the things that went wrong, on all the problems. You need to have a moving forward attitude. You need to do mentorship to progress and not dwell on your issues and your troubles. Number 3, we saw that mentorship is not a one-way street. Both parties must be involved. It's a conversation between 2 people, and the 2 need to participate. When only one participates, It's like a weight that is imbalanced. It cannot give you the right and accurate weight of the person. And hence, you can't get the full benefit of mentorship. And the fourth and last point, which I brought up today, is that mentorship is not a cure for all. Even with a mentor, you can still be a failure. You need to put in your personal efforts, and it must be guided by your desire to change and to progress. In the Bible, we can see some examples of mentor-mentee relationships that did not work. There are many. Elisha and Gehazi. So it's not like all mentorships work. It didn't work. Elisha died, and Gehazi not only did not follow up on the same path, but he actually went on with a curse of leprosy. God forbid that that should be your case. We see the case of Jesus and Judas. On the 12 disciples whom Jesus mentored, one did not make it. He ended up committing suicide. He ended up with lots of regrets. So having a relationship is not enough. This relationship needs to be managed. Let's look at some of the things that will help you to have a successful mentorship. Today, I will give you 3 keys. The first one, I want us to read the Bible in Proverbs chapter 27, verse 17. Proverbs 27, verse 17. Proverbs chapter 27, verse 17. The Bible says, as iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. The first key, which I want to highlight here today, is for you to have a successful mentorship. You don't get into a relationship for what you can get only. There should be a contribution from your side. A lot of times, mentors are overwhelmed by all these mentees that come to them because they want them to position them. They want to get a promotion. They just want something from the mentor. If that's why you get into a mentorship, it will probably not produce the result for you. Gehazi wanted the goods which the prophet receives. And he went on to even take the goods. Even when the prophet said, don't take it, he went to take the gift. And that is what destroyed him. You need to be willing to share. As iron sharpens iron, there is something you can give your mentor. A mentorship relationship that succeeds is a relationship where the mentor brings in something and the mentee also brings in something. There is something your mentor needs from you. It could be your service. It could be your availability. He should be able to call you also when he needs you and not just the other way around. What is your contribution? That will determine if this relationship will go far. So don't come into it for only what you can get. Second key that can help you in having a successful mentorship is humility. If your mentorship is going to succeed, you must be humble enough to listen, to learn, and even to be corrected. There are many people who don't want to be corrected. They don't want to listen. They don't want to get another perspective. If you are in that category, you're wasting your time. The mentorship will not help you because the mentor can draw your attention to something you thought was the right way to do things, and you should be willing to change it. You must be humble enough. If you know too much, there's very little that mentorship can do for you. You must be humble enough to learn, to listen, and to be corrected. Look at Moses, great man of God, great call. But his father-in-law, Jethro, had something he could share with him. Jethro, as a mentor, spoke to Moses and told Moses, listen, this thing would outweigh you. He may never have heard the voice of God like Moses, but Moses was humble enough to listen to him. And because he listened, his leadership took a next level. He told him, choose among the people 70 that are respected, that have certain qualities, and share your burden with them. That is what a mentor can do for you. You see that as when you are in a mentorship and you're humble, you will learn. The third key, which I want to give you today, which you must go with, is that for mentorship to work, it must be based on a relationship of trust. Trust. Trust is very key. Too often you see in politics, in ministry, and even in the career, whereby the mentee literally behaves as if he wants to overthrow his mentor. Of course, this creates unhealthy relationships and inhibits what can be gotten from the mentorship. I want you to be a mentor because I want to be more than you. Someone walked to me one day and told me that, please, I really admire you. I love the way you behave. I love the way you do things. I think that you're a great person, but I want you to mentor me. And the reason that I want you to mentor me is because I want to be more than you. That is very stupid. A very bad way to start a mentorship. Of course, I classified that mentorship relationship and it never happened. You can't get into a mentorship as a challenger to your mentor. You can't get into a mentorship as though you want to overthrow your mentor. You can't get into a relationship as though your mentor is just something you need to use. It's just a stepping stone for you. You work on him and you go to the next level. 3 things I've said, 3 keys. Number 1, don't get into a relationship for what you can get only. Number 2, humility is key. And number 3, trust is important in your mentorship. In conclusion today, in as much as mentorship is such a great tool for successful people, this venture needs to be undertaken with wisdom. If you manage your mentorship relationship wrongly, you will not get much out of it. Today, we saw how you can choose a mentor. Choose somebody who can challenge you, somebody who can speak to you, somebody who can correct you, someone who has more experience than you do, and somebody with whom you can build a relationship with. We also saw mentorship. Your mentor is not your teacher. He's not a therapist. We saw that it is not a passive endeavor. It's not a tick box thing. It is not a one-way street. And it is not a cure for all. Even with a mentor, you can still fail. There's an effort you must put in. And there must be a desire to change. On all what I have said today, we must remember that there is no mentor better than Jesus. Jesus is the greatest mentor of all times. I want to give you the opportunity to accept this mentorship relationship by giving your life to him. If you have heard me and you want to give your life to Jesus today, I want to give you that opportunity. Maybe somebody is saying, I'm tired of living this. Jesus has experience in everything more than you, and he can guide you through it all. Somebody listening to me wants to give his life to Jesus. I will help you through the process. Just repeat after me. Say, Lord Jesus, I give you my life today. I come to you as I am, with my weaknesses, with my challenges, and I know that you would accept me. Forgive me my sins. Give me another chance. Write my name in your book of life. Thank you, Jesus, for saving me. If you made that prayer, then Jesus has come into your life. He will change your life. I want to cancel you. Give me the opportunity to do that. By writing to me, you can see the email on the screen, or calling, and we'll help you. You can also visit with us at Kingdom Word Church. That is the church where I co-pastor. It's at Terminus Bonamusari. You can come to the service of your choice. Before I leave you, I want to do one last thing. I want to say a blessing in your life. May the Lord bless you in your career. May the Lord bless you as you seek a mentor. May the Lord bless the work of your hands and everything with you. See you at our next program, same time, same TV station, GITV. God bless you.